Welcome to Kethis, the hidden hand. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we're going to keep on this one. I like it. We do have 4 lands in the hand. We've got at least 2 different Voltron not necessarily commanders, but commander cards in our hand, Kimba and Miri. And then we've got Immortal Sun, which would be really nice. So let's go and lead off with, I think at this point, we're going to lead off with Flooded Strand. Let's go ahead and crack Flooded Strand. And we're going to grab ourselves a dual source that's going to come into play tapped. That way we don't have to pay 2 life. And then we can cover our commanders. So looking at pretty much green-white, pretty heavy. So let's go and grab Canopy Vista. And then we're going to go and pass the turn over to opponents. So we're playing Kethis, the hidden hand. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Then exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard. Until end of turn, each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play this card from your graveyard. Playing against Zozu, the Punisher. And we'll jump over to there in just a second. Oh, that's a beautiful thing to hit on turn 2. Let's still just go ahead and start getting some of these lands out of our deck. So we're going to go Bloodstained Mire. We're going to go ahead and crack Bloodstained Mire. Probably going to grab a Bayou. That way we can get down. Let's get this popped down. There we go. Let's grab ourselves Bayou. Let's go for Black Blade Reforge. And then kick it back over to our opponent. So playing against Zozu the Punisher. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, Zozu the Punisher deals 2 damage to that land's controller. So playing against Mono Red aggro? Not necessarily aggro, but in 1 versus 1, it's just kind of like 1 versus 1 Punisher. I think that's kind of the best way to look at it. It's pretty brutal. Ooh, look at that Soul Ring. And I think at this point, so if we go Kimba, that's going to give us a reduced cost. We're going to be able to get Black Blade Reforged on there pretty quick. I still think I kind of like going for Kethis, because that's going to give us a reduced cost going forward. Yeah, I kind of like that. So let's go for Kethis. That's going to be... Because basically it's going to allow us to, if they've got some spot removal they can use on Kimba, they can certainly go for it. Probably not going to see a ton of it, but at least with us getting down Kethis, that's going to give us a reduced cost for Kimba. We can actually get down Kimba and Miri next turn, and then end up going for Soul Ring, but we need to go for that colored mana, so I kind of like doing that. But yeah, long story short, Zozu, it's going to, or Zozu, it's going to be some, Punisher stack style effects where it's going to be hard for us to do our game plan. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to build your very own Kethis legendary deck, whatever that may be, whether it's planeswalkers, lands, go watch my Kethis deck tech. There is a ton of legendary stuff out there. Be sure to hit up MTGOTraders. They've got everything that you may need for that. So let's go Catacombs. And this could be 2 damage to us up top, which we can survive at this point right now. The main thing is we are looking at Black Blade Reforged. We can put that onto Kethis, and it's going to allow us to start swinging in against Zozu. And is that exactly what we're going to do? We have Soul Ring that we can go for, and that's going to give us a reduced cost off Immortal Sun. I think I kind of like cashing in some extra card draw, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to go Soul Ring. Because we can get, Black Blade Reforged is nice, but the way this deck really shines is just getting a ton of stuff on the board as quickly as possible. And since we are taking damage from Zozu, and I promise you, during this video, I'm going to get that reversed probably like each time I go to say it. So I'm not doing it on purpose. I just, I don't know, when you got 2 words like that, sometimes it's a little bit hard to make sure you're saying it right. We're going to go for the Immortal Sun. We're going to get that down. I think there's like maybe 1 Planeswalker in here, and that's Nahiri, so I kind of like that. Let's go and push in with Kethis, and that's the other good thing, is it's simply, even though we're not equipping Black Blade Reforged, we're still going to be able to get in for a really nice chunk of damage. It's going to be 4. It's going to put them down to 26. So we're almost going to even the playing field. But yeah, long story short, be sure to check out MTGOTraders when you build your own legendary deck. Also, shout out to inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order, whether in your market for a custom playmat, t-shirt, dice bag, whatever floats your boat. Be sure to use that. Or you can actually type in JOLT539 and search some of my playmat designs to see over there. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to my Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. Get your name in the beginning or the ending of the credits. And opponent's going to go for a Claws of Valakut on Zozu, the Punisher. Okay, so we're going to cash in an... Oh, yeah, this is what we're talking about. Sigarda's Aid. And we're in a really good spot to hopefully kind of even the playing field with us losing some life. So at this point, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think we're going to go for Lana Warwaste. And I kind of like going Kimba, because that's really going to allow us to end up with a really nice board state. We can even still get Black Blade Reforged onto Kimba, and that's just going to work out really well. Yeah, let's go for that. So we're going to equip it onto... That's going to be 3 total for us to equip. Yeah, let's go and swing it with Kethis, because that way we can still cash in some commander damage. Because we could equip Black Blade Reforged onto Kethis, but I really want to start building up some of these cat tokens, especially if our opponent's going to be, I kind of want to diversify. Oh, I forgot they had claws on there. I'm sorry about that. This is the first time I'm playing this deck, and I forgot that claws gave it first strike, and as soon as it attacked, I saw first strike, and I said, "Oh no, that is not good." All right, so we're gonna equip the Black Blade Reforged on the Kimba. Yeah, hey, 100%. I do apologize about that. That was definitely a misplay. I think what it was is I was just like, all right, we're just going to swing in for 4 damage real quick, and then we can equip the Black Blade on the Kimba, and then we'll start to get a few more cat tokens and stuff like that. So, anyway, sorry about that. We'll go and pass the turn, and we'll get down Kethis next turn. I don't think it's going to affect too much. One of the main things we want to do is get a piece of equipment onto Kimba. But yeah, one of the just kind of explain that mistake. One of the things about giving commentary and trying to make sure you're optimizing your turns is that you just kind of have to do some things shorthand in your head. You have to be like, all right, this will be good. I can do this, and then that'll work out. And then next thing you know, you just forget about claws, even though last time I head checked. Zozu was simply just a 2/2, and then I forgot that the 7/2 was over there. So we're going to let the 7 come in. That's going to be 7 commander damage, puts us down to 14. And then after this, we're going to start to get some of those cat tokens. That way we can start sending some of these cat blockers in front of Zozu, and not to worry about some of that damage. Now, that does get our life total down to 14, so that's something we kind of do want to keep in mind. And especially with some of that, what's this golden urn? Put a charge counter, gain life. All right, so that's going to be basically just some life gain. All right, that's going to be cat token on the battlefield. We're going to cash in an additional card draw, then Path to Exile, which is going to be a wonderful option for our opponent's commander. And I think that's probably going to be exactly what we want to go for. So let's go Path on our opponent's commander. That's going to get rid of that enchantment. That way I don't have to worry about that first strike damage anymore. And we'll go for that Path to Exile. That allows us to get down Kethis, a little bit of a higher cost. And then hopefully we can set... There we go. Let's go Kethis. I feel kind of bad about that. Sorry, Kethis. That is definitely my fault, buddy. He's just like, I can't believe you've done this. We're going to tap down black, and then we'll tap down white. Get down Kethis. And let's go and push in. Yeah, that's okay. We're going to lose that extra mana. And then let's go ahead and +1/+1 for each land. Let's go and push in with Shauna. And we're going to swing in with the cat token. I think that'd be good, because we can block on the back end with one of these cats. Now, if they want to deal 3 damage to our cat token or something like that, they certainly can. But Mud Button Torch is simply just a 1/1 damage, and that's probably going to be 3 damage up to our face right now. Now, I don't play a ton of goblins, but one of my favorite goblins out there is definitely Mud Button Torch Runner. I don't know, it's just... if you're new to Magic, or you don't really play a lot of goblins, one of the things goblins like to do is they like to just do these weird... battlefield things. And just the fact that you've got this like goblin with like oil on top of its head in a pot, and it's got this like, I could just imagine this guy running across the field being so thrilled just to blow up. Anyway, that's the most goblin thing you can see out there. That's one of my favorite goblins. But yeah, anyways, as far as this deck goes, this is basically just legendary Voltron. We've got a lot of awesome legendary creatures that you can choose to start putting some of your equipment on there. There's also a lot of great legendary equipment out there. You can see we have Black Blade Reforged. Even something like Traxos. We've got Traxos, Scourge of Krog. That's going to allow us to have this awesome Voltron piece for simply 4 mana. Then on top of that, this is a very heavy artifact deck, so we're going to have a lot of different ways to untap it. And if you're keeping score at home, legendary creature is a historic creature, or it's a historic card, so that's definitely going to allow us to untap Traxos and have a beautiful commander, get some good commander damage. We also have Sigarda's Aid. It's going to allow us to kind of help get some of these equipments onto some of our pieces. We also have Cauldron here, which is very important to talk about, because I've never been able to assemble Cauldron. I've never actually built a Cauldron deck, so I'm really excited about that. And then we draw into Silent Clearing, which is one of the new lands from Modern Horizons. So I'm actually really excited about these dual sources, allow you to cash in some card draw. Now, since we're staring at Cunning Spark Mage, I think we can just go Vendetta. At this point, that's just simply just going to be 1 damage. I kind of like going for that. Yeah, I mean, because I'm not sure what our opponent might have, but at least kind of getting rid of that. Yeah, they're going to send 1 damage up top. At least just want to go and force that issue. So we're going to go Cunning Spark Mage on Vendetta. We'll go for Forest. That way we're not tempted to start losing some life. And then Bonus going to go for Brute Force. Okay. We got tricked. We activated the trap card, so it's going to put us down to 9. Okay, so we're going to go for Forest, and I think we're going to go Miri. That way we can go and get down Miri, and if you want to shift that around next turn, we can do that on the back end. So let's go and push in right now. And I almost wonder if we should just go ahead and equip Black Blade onto Kethis, because that way we can get in some more command. Yeah, let's do that, because the main thing is we need to have that cat token later, but we've already got a pretty good board state developed. So let's try to get in as much commander damage as possible. So let's go and push in. We're going to right click, swing all with the entire crew. We still have a cat token and Miri on the back end to kind of help us block. So let's go and push in. That's going to be 16. That's going to be 19 total damage. It actually should be lethal. There they go. They're going to crack Golden Urn, put them up to 22. That's going to be 14 commander damage, puts them all the way down to 3. And then we'll go for Cigar to Zayn as that last little bit. Get that down in the pass turn over to our opponent. So game might have been a little bit differently if I hadn't swung Kimba into an open Claws of Valakut. But this is the first game I'm recording this morning, so sometimes that happens. But this is pretty much what we want to do with the deck. And you can definitely see if they've got some sort of spot removal. We still have a ton of different Voltron pieces we can... Deals 2 damage to any target. That's going to put us down to 5 with Stagger Shock. Okay, good. Good. Whenever a red player starts just churning out the damage, I always get really worried that something bad's going to happen. All right, so we're going to get an extra... well, actually, we're not going to end up with the cat token because we have no equipment attached to it, but we're going to be able to swing in and close the game out. We're actually going to be able to close it out commander damage and regular combat damage, which is, pretty nice feeling. And then we're going to cash an extra... Oh, look at that. This is one of those cool options you get to run in this deck that, you're not going to see a ton of legendary artifact stuff out there, but it kind of helps having that reduced cost. So let's go and right click. We're going to swing in with the entire crew. And there we go. It's going to be commander damage and lethal once we get that first track damage on the stack. So we were playing against kind of mono red. Mono red in commanders, a little bit hard to play against sometimes, especially against Zozu, the Punisher, when you're getting punished for making land drops. So you can definitely see where we got all the way down to 5. Simply being able to kind of go for a few extra burn spells and Mud Button Torch Runner, and then the awesome play from our opponent by going for Brute Force on Cunning Spark Mage, making us take 4 damage. So you can definitely see where in 1 versus 1 mono red's a little bit hard to play against sometimes, but we build up a pretty nice little board state, got some good card draw with Immortal Sun, and got down some good Voltron pieces. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Kethis, the Hidden Hand, and we're playing against Yarok, which I am super excited about. And as far as our opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. We've got Key to the City, we've got Cauldra, which is pretty much what we want to see, and we've got Virtus. So this is, I'm digging it. Let's go ahead and lead off with, I think, Overgrown Tomb. I have that coming to play tap. I'm not going to pay 2 life, and then we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we're playing Kethis, the Hidden Hand. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Then exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard. Until end of turn, those cards, each legendary card in your graveyard basically says you can play this out of your graveyard. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Kethis. Let's go Savannah. Let's go for Key to the City. That way we can at least get on Kethis next turn and get that commander damage going if we want to pretty soon. And then pass it to our opponent. So playing against Yarok, the Desecrated, which I'm super excited about. This is probably the commander out of the new set that I'm the most excited about. The only downside is I just haven't had a chance to throw together a good list that I want. I knew exactly where I was going to take Kethis, and I knew exactly where I was going to take Kaikar. And Yarok is one of those commanders that I want to make sure it's right. I want to make sure it's going to be a fun deck for us to pilot, or for me to pilot and for you to watch, or if you want to build it. Fun deck for you to pilot too. So let's go for Kethis. I think that'll be pretty good. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go Arid Mesa, and we'll crack Arid Mesa, grab ourselves. Actually, we've got double black, white in the hand, so we need to grab another green source. I think what we'll do is we'll simply just grab Temple Garden. Yeah, we're going to have to take 2 on that one. I forgot we had double black, white in the hand, so that was a little bit clunky. But either way, it's okay. We're going to go green, white, get down Kethis. That way it's going to give us a reduced cost of Virtus, reduced cost on Sword of Cauldra. Oh, yeah, that's exactly what we want to see. But yeah, so we're playing against Yarok, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Then if a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. And so I've actually got a really fun build of Yarok. Now that I think about it, I forgot I did throw it together. Whenever I did the... Oh, bummer. Well, I guess it's okay to draw into, but we would have hit it on Virtus. So I guess we're looking at Virtus for 2. We can go for Gorm for 3. I think at this point, either one, it doesn't really matter. I guess we'll just go for a Gorm. think that'd be good. Oh, or actually, if we want to start attacking our opponent's life total, we can just go for Virtus. Yeah, I think I kind of like that. So let's go for Virtus. That's going to be reduced cost. Look at that. Get that down for 2 mana. That's some good magic right there. And we can still leave up a Path to Exile. So partner with Gorm. He's in our hand, buddy. Don't worry, Virtus. You can chill out just a little bit. And that's going to be a 2/3. Greatest pet. Do we want to stop? I think we want to path on. No, if we end up pathing on Selvala, that's going to give him a land down. That's going to be 4. If they make the land drop, they can still go for Yarok. So I think during their upkeep, we might go for Selvala. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, let's try to do that. So let's have Godless Shrine enter the battlefield tapped. Not going to pay 2 life. Let's go and push him with Kethis because Selvala is sitting at a 2/3, so Kethis can definitely push past Selvala. So let's go and swing him for a 3/4. Gonna knock him down to 27. That's gonna be 3 total commander damage. And yeah, like I mentioned, let's go for Path to Exile during their upkeep. That way they just don't have that extra mana. And it's gonna come into play tapped, and we don't have to, as the game goes on, Selvala is just not gonna be a lot of fun to play against. It's just either they've got a counter spell or something like that, or if they want to cast something during their upkeep, they can do that. But at least going for this, it's just kind of going to chew up their turn by us going for Path to Exile, and at least not allow them not to go for Yarok, which is the main thing that we don't want to see. But yeah, as far as this deck goes, with Kethis, whenever it came out, and as far as me recording Kethis this morning, there's a lot of things where I'm splicing together a few different videos, so if I repeat myself, I do apologize, and the main thing for that is I don't know which video is going to make the cut whenever I release it tomorrow morning, so if I splice together and you hear this introduction a lot, hey, now you know what I'm about to say. But this is Kethis Legendary Voltron. So there's a ton of legendary creatures out here that make for wonderful Voltron creatures. We've got Virtus, we've got Gorm, we've got all the Mirror creatures, the green-white Mirror. We have Glissa the Trader, which is First Strike Death Touch, which is just an awesome... Ooh. Are we playing against your Rock Hydras? Okay, that's gonna be pretty interesting. But yeah, we've got we got the new sword in here, Truth and Justice, and Steel in here also, Sword of Feast and Famine. As you can see, we've got Cauldron in here. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff that is legendary in regards to having a kind of Voltron package, which is just really cool. Ooh, we're drawn to Riki. History of Kamigawa. That's gonna be a wonderful way to start getting some card draw. So let's go Caves. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and I think, we lead off with Riki, which is, I think you're saying that right. I do apologize. It's kind of like nails on the chalkboard if I'm not pronouncing that right. I think we go for Gorm. We can't equip Cauldron next turn. And either way, it's still going to be card draw. So yeah, let's go for Sword. I think I like that. So we're going to go for Sword. That's going to be a card draw. And if for some reason our opponent does have a board wipe, at least we're going to have this, Worldly Tutor. That's going to be, we can actually find Srom with that. So let's go and push in. We've got Kethis swinging across. We got Virtus swinging across. Look at this motley crew of legendary creatures. I love it. All right. And then to note, there is Hogak in the graveyard, so that's something we do want to keep in mind. But you can see where we knock our opponent life total down to 11, so we're definitely putting some pressure on there. But let's see if they have a board wipe. But if they do have a board wipe, we can still go for Gorm the Great, and that at least allows us to kind of reset. And if we want to grab some sort of legendary creature with Worldly Tutor, we can put that on top during our upkeep to kind of find at least a little bit of a better option. The only downside is we don't have haste on the battlefield at this point, but we can definitely find whatever they're tutoring, we can find a pretty good option. But yeah, like I mentioned, we do have Cauldron here. It's pretty fun to be able to run Cauldron in a legendary deck like that, and if being able to get down Cauldron for 3 mana is definitely a good option. And then simply just getting down Riki, whenever we cast a legendary spell, I don't know what the percentage of cards in this deck are legendary, but it is very high percentage, so being able to cash in a little bit of card draw for what you normally would be doing is a great feeling. I'm trying to think of anything else that we did. We have Urza's Ruinous Blast in here, which is just so great. You can have a one-sided board wipe, which just really makes for a really nice time. And then trying to think what else. We do have Nahiri, the Planeswalker, so that allows us to kind of get a little bit extra Voltron package in here. And then other than that, it's just a ton of mana rocks and a very, very light Abzan control base package, like talking about like Path to Exile Swords, Hero's Downfall, and Damnation. So this is definitely kind of a full throttle Voltron. That's kind of what we're going for right now. Now, at this point, so we've got Loxodon Warhammer. And yeah, we could have gone for Worldly Tutor, but I don't really think there's much that we can do during our upkeep that allows us to close the game out at this point. So let's go Loxodon Warhammer. Or actually, if you want to cash in a card draw, that's going to be 1, 2, 3. Because if we go for Loxodon, we're not going to be able to equip and cast that. So let's go for Gorm. That's going to be an additional card draw, because I'd like to see if we can hit the land drop. There we go. Lana War Waste. Oh, and actually, if we would have just equipped Cauldra, that'd have been +5/+5. Ugh, sorry about that. That is a little bit, that is my fault. Whenever I build a new deck, I'm really excited to kind of explain it. And with us going for Cauldra, not equipping Cauldra, I think that just costs us the game right there. So hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. So we'll still at least go for Loxodon Warhammer. And then next turn we'll grab another piece. But yeah, that was a little bit of a misplay. We could have equipped Cauldra, that'd have been +5/+5. That'd have been 8, 9, 10. And then rounded up. I think that would have worked out with the Virtus trigger. So either way, we're still just going to go and swing in with the entire crew. And then next turn we can start to equip some of this equipment on there, and hopefully we do survive. So let's go and push in. Right click, attack all. That's going to be 5. Then we'll also put them down to 6 and put them all the way down to 3. So worst case scenario, we can always rebound with another creature and use Key to the City to our advantage. So we're simply just going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, whenever there's a new commander, you know, I'm really excited to kind of explain it about it. And yeah, our opponent just said they've been sleeping on Azra's power. Azra, I think, yeah, the Virtus power. Yeah, it's pretty good effect, especially in 1 versus 1 commander. Whenever you deal damage, just making them lose half of their life total. That is a very strong effect. So let's go and push in. Let's go and equip Cauldra on the Kethis just to kind of have some fun. Just to say we equipped one piece. Our opponent looks like they're going to be a pretty good sport on this one. Let us swing in and attack. Now, we might be walking into some sort of, you know, send something back to our hand. Or maybe Cyclonic Rift? Okay. All right, so we are looking at Cyclonic Rift. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, they're going to bounce it back to our hand. We do have the equip in response to that. We'll go for Key to the City. Either way, it would have been sent back. So let's go and push in. We would have had a little bit more mana to kind of deal with. So we'll go and pass the turn. We did discard a card. And I think at this point, we'll just get rid of Read the Bones. And we'll kick it back over to our opponent. So yeah, that's one of those. Our opponent was in the chat. And I was like, oh, maybe they're just letting us swing in. But should have realized there was open Cyclonic Rift mana. But that's going to allow us to at least cash in some pretty good card draw with Riki, which is something that we can definitely go for. Now, our opponent does have Lotus Veil down. One thing to keep in mind is if our opponent does have Yarok, they get down Yarok and go for Lotus Veil, that's going to be land triggers too. So that's going to be double sacrifice with Lotus Veil. So that's something you do want to keep in mind, is that with Lotus Veil, that's going to end up with some not the best thing out there that you want to watch out for. Let's go Riki, because we want to start cashing in card draw as quickly as possible. So we're going to go Riki, and I'm definitely going to start playing a little bit tighter, so I do apologize. One of the things on, you know, my videos is, you know, there's people that enjoy tight play, and this haven't been the tightest play videos, but definitely want to make that a little bit different. So we're going to try to just be a little bit tighter with our play going forward. And so let's simply just going to go and pass the turn. Now, what we can do to really kind of cash in some extra card draw, if we really want to kind of start going for this Voltron piece, is if we want to end up using Worldly Tutor, I think we want to grab Srom. Because if we grab Srom, that's going to allow us, whenever an equipment or an aura enters the battlefield, that's going to allow us to cash in a card draw. And one of the way this deck really shines is simply just getting a ton of card draw. So whether that's having Riki on the battlefield, we can get down Srom for simply just 1 mana. That's going to allow us to start kind of churning through our deck a little bit quicker, and hopefully that should allow us to deal some pretty good damage. Now, they do have Gargos on the battlefield. I think what we'll do next turn is simply just now we can't go for Srom, but we do have Key to the City, so whatever it is, we'll make him unblockable. All right, so they're going to gain control of Kethis, which, yeah, that's okay. We can still put it all on Riki's back. The history of Cam. You just imagine Riki swinging into the red zone. Just how goofy that would be. He's just like, just imagine him being the biggest pacifist in the world. Especially if, you know, he knows the entire history of Kamigawa. I don't imagine that he would be that much of he's probably more of a lover than a fighter. So, but let's see what else our opponent's going for. We still have at least Key to the City. And I think that's going to allow us to close the game out. But let's see what they do for the rest of the turn. All right, they're going to get Hammer onto Gargos. Even if they swing in, they have another haste option that's simply just going to be 10 damage coming across, puts us down to 17. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and either way, we can still actually lock it on Warhammer next turn. So let's just go and crack Windswept Teeth. Let's go and grab ourselves Canopy Vista. We'll have that come into play tap, because all we got to do is equip Locks It on Warhammer onto Riki, and then we'll be good to go. So opponent's going to be swinging with Gargos. That's going to put us down to 16. Let's get the land drop down for the turn. Let's go for Loxodon Warhammer. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to get Loxodon on Warhammer onto Riki. I just imagine he would definitely struggle holding that. There we go. And we're going to discard a card. We're going to have target creature is unblockable. There we go. Riki's going to be able to sneak past all of these people. We're going to get rid of Worldly Tutor. Can't be blocked. They simply just have one colorless mana out there. So let's go and swing in with Riki. And then close the game out. It's going to put them all the way down to 0. Or put them down to -1, technically. Yeah, like I mentioned, this is one of those gameplay videos where I probably didn't play as tight as I could have. But when playing a new commander, I try to focus on explaining the deck sometimes and talking about cool interactions. But we're able to close it out, bounce back from the mistake, and that's what Magic's about. Bouncing back from your mistake. So this is definitely an interesting Yarok deck. We got to see Arcane Adaptation on Hydra, and yeah, I don't know. That's really interesting, having all of the creatures, Elder Dragon, Hydra, and then even Kethis. He got a little bit of Hydra over there. But we're able to close it out with Riki. But this is a wonderful showing of what we're trying to do with the deck. So we get down Kethis, we get that reduced cost on something like Sword of Kaldra, even being able to get down Virtus for 2 mana. Then we get down Riki and just simply start casting legendary spells. Cast it, get a card draw off Sword of Kaldra, get Gorm the Great. Then we get down something like Shram, and we start casting some of these equipments. It's going to be some extra card draw. So you can see where you just have this overlapping value to end up with these wonderful Voltron board states. And it is a ton of fun. Now, is it the most competitive way to take Kethis? Probably not, but hey, it's a ton of fun. And the thought of being able to assemble Kaldra, that's a moral victory right there. But yes, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Kethis, the Hidden Hand. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, I like it. We're going to keep on this one. We've got 2 fetch lands. We've got a draw land, or horizon land, whatever you want to call it. And we've got a little bit of a mana rock, some protection, and we've got a wonderful Voltron piece in Kimba. And then hopefully we can get some Simba. We can get some cat tokens on the battlefield pretty quick. I killed Mufasa. So we're playing Kethis, the Hidden Hand. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard. Till end of turn, each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play this card from your graveyard. Playing against Azusa, Lost but Seeking. You may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. And hopefully we're not playing against Azusa Eldrazi. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, it's not too much fun sometimes. But hopefully we can get some busted stuff going on our side of the battlefield to compete with that. So I think what we want to lead off with is, let's just go and lead off with Bloodstained Mire. We did run into Godless Shrine, so let's go and grab a black-green source, and then we can, with the Wood of Foothills, we can grab that Temple Garden. That'll be pretty good. So we're going to grab Overgrown Tomb, have that come into play tapped, and not going to pay 2 life. We did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to build your very own legendary Kethis deck, whatever that may be, whether it's enchantments, planeswalkers, artifacts, there's a ton of legendary stuff out there. Have some fun. Be sure to head over to MTGOTraders.com. They have a wonderful selection of legendary cards. And, ooh, yes, Sword of Feast and Famine. I am definitely digging this. So we can't, yeah, let's just go Wood of Foothills, and let's go and crack Wood of Foothills. Let's grab Savannah, and that way we're not taking any damage off that. And then we can go for Swiftfoot Boots, or we can actually go, I think we just want to go for Talisman, because it's only a matter of time before they start ramping. So we're going to go for Talisman, and that's going to allow us to at least get down Kethis for next turn, or if we want to start going for Sword of Feast and Famine, Kimba, whatever that may be, we'll start to go for that, and then we'll go and pass the turn. But yes, be sure to check out MTGOTraders, and inkgaming.com. You can use coupon code JOLT to get 10% off your order if you're in the market for a custom playmat, t-shirt, or dice bag. Coupon code JOLT is going to get 10% off your order. Or you can actually go to the website, type in JOLT539. You can see some of my cool playmat designs. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to my Patreon, there's a link down in the description below. Get your name at the beginning or the ending of the credits. And sometime in the near future, I'm working on the process of doing it, but I'm going to be sending out some tokens to Patreon supporters. So if that's something that interests you, if you like tokens, I like tokens, keep that in mind. So it is officially free time. Let's have some fun. Now we're going to go to, accidentally just clicked into our combat steps. We're going to go to our second main phase. We are looking at Kethis. I would like to get, well, actually we're just playing against mono green, so it's probably not really going to matter how we divvy this out. But I would like to get that reduced cost as quickly as possible. So let's do this. So let's go for Kethis. That's going to be white. That's going to be green, and that's going to be black. So we're going to be able to get Kethis down pretty quick. And And I think at this point, I just like going for Godless Shrine because there's nothing else that we can do for one. There's nothing that's legendary that we can get down this turn. So we're going to get down Godless Shrine into play tapped, and then we'll go and pass the turn over our opponent. That does put us in a position to where we can actually go for Kimba next turn, still go for Swiftfoot Boots and Equip, which is something that I really do like. So that'll be a good line of play for us to go for. And also, if we get some of this equipment onto Kimba, hopefully that should allow us to kind of compete with the Azusa. And if they got off to a kind of a slow start, you know, there's sometimes where if you have a Azusa and you just don't really have that heavy of a land hand, Azusa's not that good. But there are some times where it's just busted and they get a ton of land drops. But thankfully, with us having Sword of Feast and Famine, and our opponent simply just passing the turn, I feel really good about that. Now, if we're going to end up going for Sword of Feast and Famine, yeah, well, let's do it. So let's go for Prismatic Vista. Let's go and crack Prismatic Vista because basically what we can do is, yeah, we'll get down. Think of this. We've got 2 green sources, 2 white sources, 2 black sources. So I think what we'll do is we're just going to grab a green source. That way, if we're trying to go for Glissa, that might be just a little bit hard. Now, we can go for Kimba and Equip, or we can go for Sword of Feast and Fame and swing in, get an extra combat step, and not be able to go for Kimba. I think I like going for Kimba because that gives us a little bit of a longer game plan that we can go for. Because we could go Sword of Feast and Fame, and that's going to give us 4 mana on the back end, but I really like making sure that we've got Kimba protected. So we're going to go for Swiftfoot Boots, and then once we get Boots onto Kimba, that's going to allow us to start to get some of those cat tokens on the battlefield. So there we go. Get Swiftfoot Boots on there, and we could push in. I doubt there's going to be a random pump spell from our opponent, but I think we're just going to pass the turn at this point, because at this point we just want to build up our board state. Now, as far as this Kethis deck, you know, there's a lot of different ways you can take Kethis. Kethis cares about legendary creatures, or I mean just anything that's legendary. That's planeswalkers, that's equipment, that's artifacts, that's creatures. And so as I started to prepare a deck tech, in fact, if you want to build Kethis and you don't know where to take it, go check out my deck tech. You know, I did a really good pretty long video, about 30-minute video, kind of covering all the different legendary cards you can include in your Kethis deck, so you can kind of include it as packages. And one of the cool things that I kind of came across is there's a ton of Voltron stuff. Simply getting down Glissa as a Voltron piece, First Strike Death Touch. You know, imagine just having Sword of Feast and Famine on Glissa protection. That's going to be double triggers, which we might end up going for that next turn. You know, we can get down Kimba, get down a bunch of cat tokens. There's just so much overlapping value in a Kethis like kind of equipment style deck. You know, we've got Shram in here. We have Danitha that's going to give us the reduced cost of going for that. All right, so we got Fierce Empath coming down. Let's see what the reveal zone is off. And they did end up going for Windswept Heath. Off of that expedition map. So let's see what's in store for us. You know, even if they end up going for about the only thing that we don't really want to see is going to be Bane of Progress. So hopefully that's not what we see. But there we go. Regal Force. Okay, they're going to go for card draw. We can survive a Regal Force. So, and hopefully we can generate enough value with the Sword of Feast and Famine where we can get a pretty good untapped step. So let's see what we draw into first. We're going to get a cat token down. And that's going to be a little bit more of a fair option with Regal Force. I kind of like seeing that. And let's go to our draw step. Ooh, Assassin's Trophy. That is, that's going to be pretty good. So go to our main phase. We get the land drop down for the turn. That's going to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could still end up going for the Sword of Feast and Famine trigger, which, yeah, I do want to do that. So let's go Sword of Feast and Famine. We're going to go Sword of Feast and Famine. Let's go and equip that onto Kimba. Simply just because it is going to be a 2/4. We've already got it equipped. Or if we want to, we could equip it onto Kethis just to kind of cash in a little bit extra commander damage. I like getting Sword of Feast and Famine on a protected creature. I think that's going to be a better option. Not sure what that mono green could have, but I kind of like this. I feel like it's a little bit better for us. So let's go and push in with Kimba. We're going to have that protection from green. We're going to make them discard a card, which is definitely going to be good. Then that's going to allow us to untap our 5 mana, and we can start to kind of spread some of that stuff around. Make them discard a card. We get to untap our lands, and you can see where Sword of Feast and Famine is just such a gnarly thing. All right, so Kozilek's going to get shuffled everything back. So we do see a few Eldrazi kind of hanging around in there. And let's go for Glissa. And also, one of the funny stories about Glissa, and I'll explain why Glissa's like $100 card for me. We can go for Loxodon Warhammer if we want to. Yeah, I think that'll be good. So we can leave up Assassin's Trophy. But yeah, let's just go Loxodon Warhammer. That'll be good, because once we get that trample damage, it's going to be really hard for them to, or even that lifelink, that's going to give us some really nice life total. All right, anything else? We're going to go and pass the turn. So, Glissa the Trader. This is a $60 promo card for me when I got into Magic Online. And so this is a little bit of a funny story. And finally found a home for Glissa. You know, I do need to build Glissa, but when I first got into Magic Online, the only thing I knew about Magic was I just typed in play Magic Online, and Arena wasn't around back then, and so the first link that pops up is Magic the Gathering Online. So I download it. They didn't have a tutorial. They had a free-to-play section where you could just play a bunch of pre-constructed decks from the standard set. So there's like, and it's just such a Magic way to learn Magic back in the day, where it's just like, hey, you can play these decks for free. Good luck. You know, just kind of grind it out and you'll figure it out. So, you know, I spent an entire weekend playing Magic, and I was like, okay, there we go. But I had no foundation to fall back on. You know, I had nobody that told me, hey, you can buy singles here. You can buy singles from MTGOTraders, or, you know, this is a Planeswalker. You know, I've only played pre-constructed decks on Magic Online, so, you know, they don't have Planeswalkers in there, so I have no idea what these are. And so, but I did read online that you could draft, and by drafting, you could build up a card collection. So what I ended up going for was I started drafting Innistrad, and I found a Liliana of the Veil in one of my draft packs. I didn't know what it did. I didn't know what a Planeswalker did, but I did know that it was like, oh, this is a pretty good card. Uh-oh, tooth and nail coming down. I'll finish this story. So I drafted Liliana of the Veil, and then back in the day, if you hung out in the just starting out room, trade sharks would, you know, they would just hang out in there and just say, hey, do you have any trades? And they would just hope to kind of catch something of yours of extreme value for really cheap. And so what our opponent ended up going for, not our opponent did grab Adventures Zendikar and Crater Hoof, so they're going to get it on this one. So, but I'll finish the story. And so what ended up happening is that he said, hey, do you have any trades? And I said, sure. And I said, yeah, let's see. And then at that time, I was building a green-black rare deck that was, it's just any green-black card that I could find that was good. I would just kind of scrounge it up and put it into a deck. And I found Glissa. She had First Strike and Death Touch. I was like, whoa, that's unbeatable. How do you stop First Strike Death Touch? You can pretty much kill everything on the battlefield. And so with Glissa and like First Strike and stuff, so I was like, we traded Liliana the Veil for Glissa the Trader, because I was like, is that a fair trade? And he's like, yeah, that is. I was like, okay, cool, I trust you. And there we go. So that is the story of Glissa being like a $60 Glissa promo card. Anyway, if you ever see Edward123 on Magic Online, hey, that person is a trade shark, so watch out for them. But anyway, Glissa is a $60 card. Glad we got to put it in the deck. You can definitely see what we're trying to go for with Kethis by building a pretty good legendary build. But when the tooth and nail for Crater Hoof and Avengers Zendikar, there's not really much that you can do for that. But we had a really good showing. We had Kethis on the battlefield. Kimbo, we got some of those cat tokens going. Next turn, we're looking at going for Glissa. We're going to have that first strike. We'll be able to get some of those Sword and Feast of Famine triggers. We got Loxodon that's going to give us that life gain, kind of give us get us a little bit ahead on life total. But even if we held up Assassin's Trophy, that's still not going to stop the damage from coming across. So good game to our opponent, and if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.